Have you ever wondered why some people seem instantly drawn to you while others keep their distance? That mysterious pull of attraction or that invisible wall of rejection? Why is it that with certain people, conversation flows effortlessly, like you've known each other for years, yet with others, there's this palpable tension that neither of you can quite explain? It's not just about looks or charm. There's something deeper happening beneath the surface, something that goes beyond the words we say. Today, I want to explore the hidden forces that determine whether someone feels magnetically pulled toward you or subtly pushed away. Let's start with the truth we don't talk about enough. Attraction isn't random, and rejection isn't personal. Both are governed by psychological patterns that have been shaping human connections since the beginning of time. Think about it. When someone feels drawn to you, there's a reason. When someone seems repelled, there's a reason for that too. Understanding these reasons doesn't just help your dating life, it transforms how you see yourself. The first thing we need to understand is what I call unconscious resonance. It's the silent conversation happening between two energy fields long before words are ever exchanged. You've felt it before, haven't you? That instant click with someone, or that immediate feeling that something's off. That's not coincidence. That's your nervous system recognizing patterns that either feel familiar and safe or triggering and threatening. We're all walking around with invisible relationship blueprints, templates formed by our earliest attachments, past loves, heartbreaks, and unhealed wounds. And when someone's blueprint complements yours, when their patterns of giving and receiving align with what you're seeking, there's an almost gravitational pull. But when their blueprint contradicts yours, there's resistance, distance, sometimes even hostility. Let me make this more concrete. Imagine you grew up in a home where love was expressed through heated debates and passionate reconciliation, where affection and conflict were two sides of the same coin. You might find yourself inexplicably drawn to partners who challenge you, who engage in that familiar dance of tension and release. Meanwhile, someone who grew up with calm, steady affection might find your intensity overwhelming, frightening even. Neither response is wrong. Both are simply different nervous systems responding to different cues. But here's where it gets interesting and where your power lies. You can shift these patterns. You can become conscious of the unconscious signals you're sending and receiving. And when you do, something remarkable happens. You start attracting people who align with who you're becoming rather than who you've been. Think about it. The second force at play is what psychologists call emotional mirroring. We're drawn to people who reflect back versions of ourselves that feel validating. When someone sees in you what you hope is true about yourself, there's an almost addictive quality to that connection. It feels like coming home. Conversely, when someone reflects back aspects of yourself that you're trying to deny or outgrow, there's often an instinctive recoil, a need to distance yourself from that reflection. This is why sometimes the people who trigger us most are actually showing us exactly what we need to heal. I remember working with a client, let's call her Maya, who couldn't understand why she kept attracting emotionally unavailable partners, men who would get close, then pull away. What we discovered was illuminating. Maya had grown up with a father who was physically present but emotionally absent. This created a pattern where she subconsciously equated love with longing. She didn't know how to feel secure in love unless there was some element of distance to overcome, some void to fill. And so she kept attracting men who recreated that familiar emotional landscape, not because she wanted pain, but because her nervous system recognized the pattern as love. Once Maya became conscious of this pattern, everything changed. She could feel the pull toward unavailable men, but she could also make different choices. She could rewrite her definition of love. Now, let's talk about the third force, value alignment. Beyond the subconscious pulls of childhood patterns and emotional mirroring, there's the matter of values. What you stand for, what matters to you, how you move through the world. People are drawn to those whose values resonate with their own. Not necessarily identical values, but complementary ones. Values that create a sense of alignment and purpose. When someone seems instantly repelled by you, it's often not about you as a person. It's about a fundamental misalignment in values that both of you can sense, even if neither can articulate it. This is actually a gift. It's the universe's way of steering you toward connections that will nourish rather than deplete you. But here's the challenging part. Sometimes the values we say we have aren't the values we actually live. We might say we value authenticity while presenting a carefully curated version of ourselves. We might claim to value depth while avoiding vulnerable conversation. And people feel these disconnects. They may not be able to name them, but they feel them. Which brings me to perhaps the most powerful attractant of all, integrated authenticity. When your inner world aligns with your outer expression, when what you feel, what you think, what you say, and what you do are all in harmony, you become a magnet for genuine connection. People are drawn to those who know themselves, who own their truth without apology but also without weaponizing it. This kind of authentic presence is rare and precious, but it's not about perfection, It's about congruent, being the same person in every room, in every relationship. I've noticed something fascinating in my work with clients. The people who struggle most with attracting healthy relationships often have a fundamental split between how they see themselves and how they present themselves to potential partners. There's a gap between their authentic self and their dating self. This gap creates an energetic dissonance that others can feel, even if they can't name it. It registers as inauthenticity, as incongruent, and our nervous systems are finely tuned to detect incongruent. It feels unsafe. So what can you do with all this information? How can you become someone who attracts the right people for the right reason? First, become a student of your own pattern. Notice who you're drawn to and why. Notice who seems drawn to you and why. Look for the threads that connect your relationship history. Not to blame or shame yourself, but to understand yourself. Ask yourself, what familiar dynamics am I recreating? What wounds am I trying to heal through others? What parts of myself am I seeking in them? Second, practice radical authenticity, not as a strategy to attract others, but as a commitment to yourself. This means allowing yourself to be seen in your fullness, your light and your shadow, your certainty and your doubt, your strength and your vulnerability. It means speaking your truth even when your voice shakes, setting boundaries even when you fear rejection, expressing your needs even when you've been conditioned to minimize them. Third, cultivate present, true present. In a world of endless distraction, being fully present with another person is perhaps the rarest gift you can offer. And it's magnetic. When you're truly present, you're not thinking about your response while the other person is speaking. You're not scanning the room for someone more interesting. You're not half checking your phone. You're right there, fully engaged, curious, receptive. This quality of attention is transformative. It makes people feel seen, heard, valued, and being truly seen is what we all crave most deeply. Fourth, develop your emotional intelligence. This means learning to identify, understand, express, and regulate your emotion. It means developing the capacity to empathize with others without taking on their emotional state. Emotional intelligence is the foundation of healthy relationships. It allows you to navigate conflicts with grace, to repair ruptures, to grow together rather than grow apart. And it's incredibly attractive, not in a superficial way, but in a sustaining way, the kind of attraction that deepens rather than diminishes over time. Finally, recognize that attraction and repulsion are not fixed states. They're dynamic, fluid, ever-changing. Someone who seems put off by you today might be drawn to you tomorrow once they see more of who you truly are. Someone who seems infatuated with you initially might pull away as they discover aspects of you that trigger their own unresolved issues. This isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of where both of you are in your respective journeys. Remember Maya, my client who kept attracting emotionally unavailable men. After doing her inner work, after becoming conscious of her patterns and redefining her relationship with love, something remarkable happened. Not only did she start attracting emotionally available partners, but some of the men from her past who had been unavailable began showing up differently in her life. It wasn't that they had changed, it was that she had changed, and that shift in her energy field affected everyone around her. This is the ultimate truth about attraction. It begins with your relationship with yourself. When you become someone you love being with, someone whose company you enjoy, whose thoughts you respect, whose feelings you honor, that energy becomes palpable to others. You no longer need anyone else to complete you. You become whole on your own. And paradoxically, that's when the deepest connections become possible. That's when you attract people who enhance your life rather than fill a void in it. So the next time you wonder why someone feels drawn to you or repelled by you, remember this. It's not about being enough. It's about resonance. It's about the invisible conversation between your energy and theirs, between your patterns and theirs, between your values and theirs. And while you can't control how others respond to you, you can become increasingly conscious of who you are and how you show up. You can become increasingly authentic, increasingly present, increasingly emotionally intelligent. You can heal the patterns that no longer serve you. You can align your inner and outer world. And as you do, you'll notice something magical happening. The right people will be drawn to you for the right reason. Not because you're perfect, but because you're real. Not because you have it all figured out, but because you're committed to the journey.